This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
The year was 1998. Bill Clinton was president. And Matt, you had just graduated high school, isn't that right?
A couple years earlier. I think I was working at Wiener Schnitzel's. Let's see. Wiener Schnitzel's. No, actually, I think I had my first job in radio, actually, working overnights in the middle of the night in 1998.
In 1998. And then there was this, was it a law? Or what was it that was passed, Lisa, in 98?
Civil code.
Civil code.
So who are we talking to today?
Yeah, so we have Lisa Massey here with Snap NHD. She's an absolute amazing person, and we're talking about NHDs, natural hazard disclosures. If you don't know what that means, they are required on all real estate transactions in the state of California. And in 1998, that was actually written into the Civil Code. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Civil Code 1103.
1103. And what was the reason? Like, why did they want this written into the Civil Code, Lisa?
So what happened was in 98, they decided to pass this Senate bill because there were so many homeowners that were getting into properties without knowing that they were in certain zones or areas. So think of anything that's like flood, fire, think of Mother Nature, right? Mm-hmm. Anything that's a natural disaster, mudslides, landslides, where people were actually losing their homes. Yeah. And so when they passed this Civil Code in Civil Code 1103, they stated you must disclose when there's a change of hands to a new buyer. So it's a seller required to pass this report on to the actual buyer.
So that way they know what they're getting outside of the home, like the environment outside of the home.
It allows them to have an educated, decision on what they're actually getting into and what they're purchasing.
So the state, prior to that, saw that as a problem where homeowners were getting into a situation where a flood might happen or a fire. They weren't aware of that, right?
Absolutely.
And then they would be in severe trouble because their insurance wouldn't cover something like that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So think of there's, obviously we've had major earthquakes. The 1928 St. Francis Dam collapsed. There was lawsuits in that. And then, there was death, there was loss of life, loss of property. So, and we've had, floods, fires throughout California. I mean, Cal Fire just came out with their new maps. So all NHD companies on April 1st, they have all updated fire maps. And think about it, we were at about 38%. We're getting closer to 50% in the state of California.
Yeah, the fire maps are getting crazy.
Yeah, we're on fire.
Valor did a deal in Los Lagos recently, fire zone.
Sure. In the Bay Area?
No, Los Lagos here in Granite Bay.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay.
They won an Orangevale. It just backed up to a green belt.
Really? Wow.
Fire zone, like fire insurance. Like it's just crazy.
Even my co-host Mike, who does the morning shows with me, he lives in Citrus Heights near a creek. And he's now in a flood zone.
Yes.
He's in a flood zone.
Yep. And because they actually FEMA just released more maps on those flood zone areries in Citrus Heights.
So I think eventually it's just going to be the whole, you live in California, it's going to happen. Beautiful
California.
Right.
And so that's what's crazy about these NHD reports, though, is that you may be from the area, you may think, okay, yeah, in the foothills, fire makes sense, but Granite Bay, that's crazy. And so it's really beneficial to the client to have this information up front and just know what they're getting into.
Absolutely. And you can't close escrow without having this report. So for listing agents, I always let them know, order at the time of listing because you want to disclose. And when you're getting all of your, disclosures up front, you should, then there's no surprises. If you come down to being, let's say, in a high fire severity zone and you're triggered in that AB 38 and you have to go on and request an inspection from Cal Fire, if you're waiting 3 days before your closing escrow, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah. There's going to be delays.
And insurance companies, as you know, have backed out of California, so everyone's on this fair plan.
Yep, and it's the not so fair plan.
I don't know why they call it the fair plan.
Why is it not fair?
It's so expensive.
It's so expensive.
It wasn't designed to carry the entire state.
No,
it was designed
to
just
long term.
Or it was just designed to be like a little, Band-Aid.
Right.
Pockets.
But, yeah.
So what is the benefit? Tell us about the company you work for and the benefit of working with you as opposed to someone else.
So what I love about Snap NHD is that we're a data technology company. So not only do we make our reports super easy and fast, I mean, our reports for the most part, unless they're held up in taxes, show up within a couple minutes. And so I love the ease of the report. They're very easy in or out determinations. So I always tell agents, really focus on that summary page, on the statutory page that has those 6 in or out determinations: flood, fire, seismic, dam inundation, right? And if you see a box that says yes or a box that says no, then that's really going to tell you everything that you need to be most concerned about in the report.
Yep.
And then we also have a built-in tax calculator that I love. It makes it easy for the buyer's agent to let their clients know, depending on when they close escrow, they're going to have that supplemental bill come in.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what that is? Do you remember the supplemental bill, Matt?
No.
That is
The surprise supplemental bill.
Yeah, that always
Surprise.
So whatever it was assessed for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what you paid for.
Oh, sure.
You paid
Yeah.
the taxes, and the impound account was funded based off this, but now it's up here, and
Right.
so now you're getting that. Man, I remember the first time I got a supplemental tax bill, I thought there was a mistake. I thought it was fraud. I was so mad. And they're like, nope, it's legit. But you're saying now they're going to know up front. They're not going to get a surprise.
Yes, I always let buyer's agents know, like, go on there and educate your clients, because if 3 months later they get that tax bill, they're going to be upset with you.
Yep.
And it also is a way for you as an agent to go back and remind them, hey, you're going to have a supplemental bill coming due. And it's just ways to stay in touch, right?
Mm-hmm. And provide
you're
value.
Top of mind.
Yeah. And what you spoke on earlier too was just making sure you said it so quickly. I don't know if everybody caught it, but having all the inspections up front.
Yep.
That
all
is
disclosures.
That is something we preach at Made for More. Is you want to make sure home, pest, roof. We actually reach out to an insurance company, so that way we have an insurance quote. It won't be exact because it's based off your age and how many claims you've had, but hey, the property is insurable, and we order up front the Snap NHD disclosure, so that way prospective buyers have access to everything up front. And that just makes a world of difference. And the best part about Snap is if you end up not selling the home, or if it ends up not going through for one reason, or if you don't use the disclosure, you don't pay, right?
Yep. If you don't close, you don't pay. So there's no loss there to do that. And also for all of the new listeners, for anyone that hasn't worked with Snap NHD, you do get 50% off your first order. So, $49.97, you get that NHD, the tax, the Mellarus, and then you also get the environmental report. And I like to talk about the environmental because we're talking about the NHD, that's the natural hazards, like Mother Nature, things that are out of our control, right? Yeah. But then there's the added additional report at the end that states any man-made. So environmental is all man-made. So things that are in our control that affect air,
Give
water.
us some examples.
So air, water, soil. So anything that can potentially, that's man-made, affect those 3 areas. So think of like radon, think of leaky underground storage tanks. This is all sexy information, I know.
I know. It's riveting.
Yeah, I know, riveting. Gas and oil wells. Like if you're near an airport, if you're near, a military base.
What about the dam, Folsom Dam? Would that qualify?
That would also, the dam inundation would be actually in the NHD.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's on that statutory page.
Okay.
That's actually required to have
Power
that.
lines, stuff like that. Would that be the man-made?
The man-made,
right.
Yes, if they were man-made. So, but it's more things that are
a
like
noisy high school,
yes,
man-made.
Noise, yeah, right?
Well, no, is that true though? Noise
noise
pollution
ordinance are in there, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there are noise ordinances. So, if you're near an airport, you want to know.
Sure.
If you've got planes flying over all day, right?
And that's kind of the reason why they did this too. Like if you're from the area, then yeah, sure,
Makes sense.
You know about the airport. But if you're coming from somewhere out of town, you don't know the landscape as
right.
well. And so they just want to make sure buyers are informed.
It's a great way to, really talk about, all of the schools in the area, what's around, right? And then also the environmental concerns.
So who pays for this?
The seller does.
The seller pays for
Unless you
this.
negotiate it otherwise, but generally speaking, it's the seller.
Okay.
But if you think about it, the report really is for the buyers. So I always tell buyers agents, don't be shy. It's under $100 to order an NHD report. So fight for your company, it's not generally one that's countered out like title is. You know,
Right.
everyone fights for their title company.
I know. We fight hard for Margaret.
And it's
Yes.
good.
Oh, I love Margaret.
And it's
Margaret
good even
Harris.
for agents to have these conversations with you so that they can just be informed, because an informed agent seems like someone that the buyers and sellers can trust, someone that they can know and depend on, that's going to have all that information, you know, looking at those disclosures, but then just being aware of what the areas have, you know, certain suburbs, you know, you're vulnerable to this, and the disclosure, you're going to have this. And it's just beneficial.
I was talking with a seller. Oh, where was he? He was in Roseville, just on the border between Roseville and Granite Bay. And he's like, yes, my house is going to sell really fast. And I'm just going to throw in the MLS. And that's really all it takes, right? And I said, technically, in order to get the home under contract, maybe. But then there's the whole escrow period. Like, how do you know what the normal fees are? How do you know what good inspectors are? How are you going to negotiate? Like, just what we're talking about right here can save you thousands of dollars on either side of the transaction if you have an advocate. But if you have an inexperienced agent or somebody that is new to this process or unfamiliar, then it can cost you a lot of money. So it's not just about throwing a sign in the yard and getting an offer accepted. How do you know the offer is going to close? If you have 4 offers, how do you know how to pick which is the strongest offer? Are they underwritten? Are they just pre-approved? Is it a desktop, pre-approval?
Sure.
Is the lender local? Are they legit? Or are they, from some company on the East Coast that has a habit of qualifying people and then the loan not going through? So their offer may be higher, but the best offer is the one that's going to close.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, anyways,
These days, you got to work harder for it.
Oh
so.
my gosh, it seems like I'm dragging all these escrows just across the finish line. They're basically it's so hard right now because money's tight for buyers and sellers still want to net the most amount of money because they're still in their home that's locked in with like a 3-4% interest rate. So they're motivated to net the most amount of money out of this because they're going to go and get another mortgage and they're going to be paying 6-7%. So
Absolutely.
it is critical right now to be working. It's not like 21 where everybody was winning. It's
and we
way
never
harder.
anticipated that to happen.
No.
Right.
COVID.
That was a blessing.
Yes.
But I think the bottom line, working with someone like you and your company is beneficial, especially to agents, because, having those conversations, even aside from getting those reports, which of course is necessary, right?
Yes.
But just, giving you a call, emailing you, and sitting down having those conversations about what the climate is, what the landscape is for Northern California, so they can be an informed agent to help their clients.
Yep. And so I'll give Lisa a quick plug. The reason why Valerie and I have worked with Lisa for years now is because of the personal relationship, because she is so good at her job and because she's so responsive.
Did you ask her when you started working with her, have you graduated high school?
No, I did not.
See?
I need to add that. I
wonder if she would have said, nope, never graduated high school.
Yeah, now you'll never know.
Right.
But she is just so responsive.
I never was damaged by that public
gosh.
high school education.
But not only that, but everybody, Lisa. Like everybody. You've been doing this a long time. You said you got started in 01.
Jay-Z,
Yes.
right? Branson.
Jay-Z got nothing on me. Come on now.
No. But anyway, so if you're looking for a good NHD rep, if you're looking for the best NHD rep, I suggest you reach out to Lisa Massey at Snap NHD.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have a phone number they can text you?
I do. And that's the last thing I want to also add is that if you have clients you want me to talk to with the NHD report, they can call me, maybe give me a heads up.
Yeah.
And then if you want to know if the property's in or out of flood or fire, just text me the addresses and I'll look up and give them real quick to you. That way, if you want to stay out of those areas, you can. So my phone number to text me or call is 916-549-1226.
549-1226. 549-1226.
In the 916.
549-1226.
And if you forget about it, just go ahead and reach out to Made for More at madeformoreliving.com, and we can always get you connected with Lisa as well. So thank you so much for being on the show, Lisa. We're so glad you were able to make it out today.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. You guys are great.
Thanks.
Got to read you this text we got from Cameron. She said this about working with our friend Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team. She said, "You and your team were fantastic!" Exclamation point. "Without you and your team, I truly believe the house would still be on the market. When issues came up, such as the washer and dryer, you made it a point to fix the issue, and your generosity will not be forgotten. I will recommend you and your team to anyone that I know that is selling or buying a home because I know you are the best." And again, that's a text from Cameron, who worked with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team to sell her home.
And that's why if you're going to be doing something really big like selling a house that's complicated, you want the best, which is Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team. So if you're looking to sell your home and maybe you'd like to get the idea of what it's worth, or maybe just a cash offer and be done, reach out to Johnny and Tom with Made for More at tomdaves.com, or just Google Tom Daves Made for More. And remember, you get more with Made for More. License number 581837.